Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, we're going to focus on the home building industry because it's so key to the economy and it's also key to what's going on with the stock market. So let's start off here with XHB. When people think of the home builders, a lot of times you look at the home builders ETF, XHB, and you think, well, that must be it, right? Well, what's interesting about XHB is it's very related to new homes and new home building, etc. But it really consists of companies like Lowe's, Home Depot, and others, several others like that. So these are all companies that are related to the housing industry, but they don't build new homes. But that said, let's take a look at what's going on. And what we're looking at is a monthly chart. We'll look at the Home Builders ETF in just a minute. We're starting off here. We're looking at a monthly chart to get a little bit longer picture. Now, I'll tell you the sequence. What we're looking for is a peak and a confirmation that either the index or the particular home building stock has rolled over and turned down. So we've had several little peaks along the way in here, but no real confirmation that this thing has rolled over. Here's what I'm looking for. A lower low, which is the first lower low, followed by a lower high, and then we get another lower low, the second lower low that's lower than the first one, and you have to have a close below that low, that first low. So lower low followed by a lower high, followed by a lower low, close below that first low, and I like to see a declining 21 simple moving average. So let's take a look at a couple of instances here, and you're going to see this in all of the charts I'm going to show you. So here was 2017, 2018, the low in 2018. So we come down and we get this low right here. And it doesn't really take out this low. So, I mean, you can't really, in my mind, say it is a valid lower low. Even if you said, well, it's lower than the low in November 2016, it was followed by not a lower high, a higher high. Then we got the COVID crash. So we didn't have the setup for a rollover, okay, for a confirmation that we were into a downtrend. So then we continue pushing higher into 21, into the peak right here in November of 21. Then we come down, and you got to sit back. By the way, when I think of a pivot point, a low pivot point or a high pivot point, let's just talk about the lows first. I'm looking for two higher lows on either side of that low. So in this case, I had to look and see, okay, well, which one of these is the low point? Well, the low here is 69.44, and here's 69.34. So here is the low. We get two higher lows on the left, and we get one, two. I mean, you could say, these, you got one, but you didn't get a sequence of 1, 2 on the right. So I'm saying here's a valid pivot low. Do we break it? Here we go. We're coming down. We create the first lower low. Then we get a pivot high. So here's the first lower high. And you're starting to think, well, we're about to get a confirmation that, the home building industry is rolling over. But guess what? We don't come down and take out the lower low, much less closing below it. So then it resumes and comes back up to the upside. So here we are right now. The pivot low I'm looking at is the low of July of last year. And we're looking at right here, 97.40 on XHB. So we're coming down, but we haven't broken below it. So that's the sequence. Let's take a look at ITB. This is the U.S. Home Construction ETF. This consists of the home builders. And we're going to look at Pulte, Toll Brothers, and Lennar, okay, today. So we've got the same kind of deal, the same kind of sequence. And yes, I'm struggling with my voice today. So we came down. We didn't get confirmation that we were rolling over. And notice how, in this case, ITB, the 21 SMA was pretty much flatlining in here. And then we come back to push to the upside, and now we have a low, and we're very close to taking out that low. And we are, what, 4 months after the peak that occurred in October of last year. So what we're trying to find out is the markets, are these stocks rolling over and heading south? They may be starting it. This may be the peak, but you don't really know, and you're not going to know for several months. Okay, so again, here's the setup that we're looking for. So right now, here's where we sit with ITB. Let's take a look at Pulte. And before I go there, I just want to show you real quick back to 06, 07. On both XHB and ITB, I do not have data prior to May of 2006. So I don't have the data to be able to tell you the setup and look at the setup on either one of these, on either XHB or ITB. But I do have it on the individual stocks, and so I'll show you an example of it on Lennar. All right, so let's take a look at PHM. Here's Pulte Group. So we had the same kind of deal here, with the 2020, and then in 21 into 22, the bottom in 22. Never got confirmation that this thing was rolling over. Continued to push to the upside. Now, we are getting a break on PHM below that low, the July 24 low. But so, on the first low, I'm just looking for this to continue to come down. So we don't have LL1 yet until we get a pivot low. So I'll be watching for a pivot low establishing, which means I'm going to need 2 months with higher highs on the right-hand side, right? Like this. So that's what I'm going to be watching for. And right now, the 21 SMA is continuing to rise at a pretty strong pace. We'll see how long that lasts. And again, the peak was October of last year. All right, let's take a look at Toll Brothers. Okay, here's Toll Brothers. So similar type thing, but what's interesting in 2018, 2019 into 2020, Toll Brothers, we had a higher low, not a lower low. And even though we got a lower high, we didn't have step one of the setup in here. So then into 22, here was a low that was occurring in July of 21. Okay, we broke below that low, but the others created a pivot here, but we never got what I'm looking for, 2 higher lows on the right-hand side of that low. We just never truly formed a pivot until right here in October. Okay, so here is the first low. Here's LL1. Well, then we never got a lower high. It just kept pushing to the upside. So nothing happened here, no setup at all. And now here we are again. Here's a low that occurred July of 24. Okay, and now we're approaching, looking to see if we'll break down below that at low, just like in the others right now. We got pretty strong divergence associated with it. Okay, let's take a look at Lennar. Same kind of setup, same kind of thing happened back here in 22. And, you look over here at this low, it did not go below the low here. And the high, I think we were pretty close, about the same. So I don't consider that the setup was in play here. It definitely didn't happen here. And now we are pushing below the low, the July 24 low here on Lennar. So this is, of the three we're looking at today, this is definitely the weakest in terms of what's happening. And you can clearly see right in here the divergence that was showing up on the RSI. Same kind of thing that was happening back in here at the highs in 21. Okay, so now let's just go back and take a quick look at 2007. So I'll show you examples. So here's what we're talking about. Here's where we come down. You know, you have a low, it's established. We actually had a low here too. And you break that, you break the low, you come down, you establish a new lower low. Okay, so that's LL1. Then you get your lower high. Then you come down and you close below LL1 right here. And you've got the 21 declining. This happened in June of 2007. So pretty clear indication that that Lennar and the other stocks were doing the same thing, same exact thing. When you look at Toll Brothers, you look at Pulte, you look at others, they were doing the same exact thing. Not some of them earlier in 2007, but almost all of them right here in this kind of time frame. And then you remember the stock market peaked in October of 2007. So kind of interesting. We're definitely going to be keeping an eye on this to see what's happening. And if we're getting any kind of confirmation of the housing market, at least on the new building, the new houses, the new home building, to see if it has definitely peaked and rolled over. Okay, that's it for today. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to this YouTube channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like more of this information on a regular basis, head on over to joehenches.net. Check out the website, check out the membership. Everyone have a great week. We'll talk to you on the next video.